It's been many, many years since I found a setup this good in the stock market right now. I literally just went through thousands and thousands of companies on all my screeners, and there's 5 companies that just flagged and just popped up as huge buying opportunities right now. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the no BS, no fluff way of exactly how to allocate, exactly the story behind it, and exactly how much money we could expect to make in the years going ahead. So without further ado, let's just go dive in. Okay, the foundation, the start, the setup. How do we make money in the stock market? It all comes down to this bottom part right here. Buy a great company at a good price with good earnings per share growth. Warren Buffett, who is the Oracle of Omaha, the best investor of all time, if he were to summarize his investment philosophy, it literally comes down to that right there. And these 5 companies, they check all of the boxes. So take a look at this chart right here. When you see a business, the fundamentals, the actual numbers under the hood, the revenue, the earnings per share, the profits, the profit margins, when you see that stuff going up and to the right faster than when you see the actual stock price going up and to the right, there is a humongous disconnect right here. And this is when you want to allocate to a company. The company should be up here, but it's actually down here. Maybe because it's out of favor, maybe because people just don't like it, maybe because people don't see the opportunity. But either way, this is a setup and this is what you want to allocate to. So let's go down one step further. This is what we're looking for, and I think that we found it here. So going down to the big four, this basically sets the lay of the land because before we go buy any single stock, we have to understand the environment that we're operating within because, hey, what if the economy is really bad? What if the stock market's a bubble? What if earnings per share growth isn't good? What if interest rates are getting out of control because, oh my God, Iran, the oil prices are going up, whatever. We got to understand this stuff first before we dive into the companies, or none of that stuff actually matters. Economy overall is okay. The GDP is growing okay. Unemployment rate is okay. Interest rates are okay. The 10-year treasury bond yield is okay. Despite all the stuff you see online right now, this stuff is not doing bad right now. S&P 500 valuation. While some people will say it's expensive, what I go is to number 4 right here, where I see the 21% expected 2026 growth for earnings per share. That is super, super strong. So because this number is very strong, it justifies a slightly higher valuation, right? It's okay to be a little bit higher because the growth is so good. So, without overcomplicating it, without going deeper into this, that's literally all we got to know. Just a little thermometer check of how the overall Big Four backdrop is. Macro is good enough right now to buy single stocks. Okay, so scrolling down to company number 1, it's going to be the big bad Google. Okay, listen, earnings per share growth is 46% year over year. Revenue growth is 22% year over year. And you're getting that for a price earnings ratio level of 28. That is very bullish. The stock is a little bit undervalued right now. And they basically have the market cornered with what they do. They're very big in ads. They're very big in Google Cloud. They're very big in monetizing their billions and billions of daily users on the platform. They could distribute AI to them. They could monetize them and they could boost earnings per share drastically. So they have search up here, they have YouTube, they have Google Cloud, and they of course have AI, which is Gemini, that they are starting to monetize right now. And honestly, this is just the beginning for what Google could do. So Google is a company that I'm willing to allocate to right now. We see that Berkshire Hathaway is starting to allocate more to them, which is Warren Buffett's company, right? So it's good to have the backing of them, the stamp of approval from Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, so before everyone gets all excited and leaves the video and goes and buys a bunch of Google stock and buys a bunch of calls and sells a bunch of puts, we have to understand the bull case and the bear case for every single company on this list because I am not claiming this stock is going to go up and to the right with no bumps, no volatility, no nothing. There's going to be bumps along the way and you have to be prepared for it. So listen, the bull case for Google right now, search stays strong with AI, cloud revenue is accelerating, and billions of users to monetize. This data that they have on their billions of users is critical because Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, literally just said the day before I recorded this video how critical the data is for the companies building their AI platforms. And Google, they have a lot of data and are likely to be able to monetize that. So these numbers right here could potentially start to accelerate. And when you start at a fair valuation level to start, when you have accelerating revenue and earnings per share growth, the stock could go up and to the right pretty quick, right? But all good investors, you have to understand the bear case too. The moat could erode as competition grows. What if ChatGPT takes market share from search, which we're not seeing just yet? What if TikTok and Meta take market share from YouTube, which we're not seeing yet, but it's possible? What if capital expenditures rise so much that they spend all this money on AI data center build out, but then they don't actually fetch an ROI on that spending, right? It's possible. What about Google Cloud? What if AWS comes out? What if all these other competitors come out and take market share from Google Cloud? That, of course, is possible too, but it's very unlikely just because of the environment that we're operating within. There is so much demand for AI right now. There's very likely going to be many players that could win. And I feel pretty confident that Google is going to be one of those companies that could win. So, how do we allocate? I'm okay to buy some shares. I'm okay to sell some puts. As for buying call options, of course, keep your ratios in check. You never want to go too heavy on one single company. But if you want to go buy some calls, it is a potential allocation right now too. Now for selling puts, you guys know I go 2 years out for all my sold puts, portfolio secured puts, not cash secured puts. I'll link a video at the end to cover more on that. But let's go into the next company, which is going to be the big bad Amazon. Okay, this is a company that if there's one company that's basically going to capitalize on AI efficiency, the first company that comes to name to me is going to be Amazon. Why? Because they have so many human employees in their warehouses right now. What is that going to do to the company, especially on the earnings per share front, when there's humanoid robots replacing these employees that could do it cheaper, safer, faster, and better? It's going to make the earnings per share go up. It's going to make the profits go up, and it's going to make the share price go up beyond that too. Of course, when you're starting on a 31 for a price earnings ratio level, that is basically at fair value. But I just think that these numbers right here, top and bottom line, are going to accelerate pretty good going forward. That it's a pretty freaking solid tailwind for the company, if you ask me. So, just like before, we got to understand the bull case and the bear case because we don't just want to be blind investors that don't understand our companies. We have to understand the good side and the bad side. And if the good side is so much better than the bad side that this doesn't really even make us worried, then we could potentially allocate to Amazon. Okay. AWS and AI demand stays hot. It's very possible. We talked about Google. They're both likely to do well on that front right there. Ads for Amazon is actually a very not talked about part of the business. Ads on Amazon are absolutely exploding and it's becoming a bigger revenue driver for the business, which is what we want to see because people see Amazon as just e-commerce. You want to go buy a t-shirt or a pair of shoes or something, you go to Amazon. But Amazon is now becoming a big advertising company to put those products in front of people, and people are paying to put their products in front of people on Amazon, right? There's a billions and billions of people that use Amazon. Also, AI efficiency tailwind is coming, like I said. This is very underrated. This is very big for the company. They have many thousands of employees that could potentially be replaced by AI in the future. And when that happens, the company will be more efficient, the earnings per share will grow more. And as you guys know, going to the top right here, stocks will follow where the business fundamentals go in the long term. So these companies that we're going through right now, the fundamentals look like this and the stock looks like this. Those are the ones that you want to allocate to. You don't want to have it reversed. You don't want to see the actual fundamentals here and then a stock price is going like that because that would, of course, be the big bad B word, the bubble word, right? But this is like a reverse bubble. It wants to go back to where it is, where it should be up here with the fundamentals. So Amazon on balance, I'm pretty bullish with. If you want to allocate, I'm okay with shares, potentially sell some puts, potentially buy some calls. Of course, everything has to be longer duration to give the company time to boost the earnings per share, boost the revenue, and it will justify the valuation level. So Amazon is a great company with a great moat, and I am okay to allocate. Now, look, I know that I talk about NVIDIA a lot on this channel, but literally, like I said, yesterday, Jensen Huang, the NVIDIA CEO, just said some freaking crazy things about what the company is planning to do. Look, we know that NVIDIA stock hasn't really been moving that much in the past, the last few months or whatever, and AMD's been going up, Broadcom's been going up, Marvell, everything else seems to be going up, but not NVIDIA. Look, that is not going to last forever. This right here is literally what NVIDIA is right now. Business fundamentals are going up and to the right, and the stock is literally going nowhere. Like the stock is up, but it's just not going up as much as the fundamentals. That's a better way to say it. So when you're patient and when you allocate the right way, you could capitalize on that opportunity. And it's honestly like you shouldn't want it any other way because that gives you room to allocate and capitalize and get your ducks in a row before the big move could potentially come. So when you have revenue growth at 85% year over year, insane. Earnings per share growth is 75% year over year, nuts. And you get that for a price earnings ratio level of 38 trailing, meaning 12 months had already happened. It's cheap, guys. And if this growth is going to continue, the stock is going to follow it up and to the right. So very simply, how much do we think Nvidia stock is going to go up in the next 1 year or 2 years? Just think about this very logically. If we're starting a fair value on a fair valuation level to start, and the earnings per share goes up 75%, theoretically the stock should go up 75% in 1 year also. Is it going to be linear perfectly up and to the right? No, of course there's going to be bumps along the way, but that is the move of what you should expect the stock to do. So not only is NVIDIA the best in the GPU space, but now they're encroaching into the CPU space, which is competition for Intel, competition for Broadcom, and competition for AMD. So now everyone's like, what bad can you say about NVIDIA now? We are now in these spaces, and not only are we in them, but we're dominating them. We are the best in that space. And when you have demand for chips just going through the roof right now, Nvidia is going to be a big winner. AMD is probably going to be fine. Broadcom's probably going to be fine too. But Nvidia is the company that is a good company at a good price. Those other ones that I just said, the Broadcom, the Marvells, and the AMDs, their valuation level is nowhere near as cheap as Nvidia right now. So, like we got to do in every company, the bull case and the bear case. Bull case, AI demand is still exploding. I think it is. All the companies are saying they plan on spending more money because right now AI tokens, which is just AI gasoline spent to use the models, it's now profitable. So the more AI that you build, the more profitable that you become. So that's really bullish for Nvidia because it's like the more chips you buy, the more money your business makes. So it's like the demand could be astronomical, right? The more you buy, the more you make. Runway's still long in my opinion. Like I think we're early stages on the AI build out right now, guys. So, everyone says, "Oh, when is it going to end? When is it going to end?" It's kind of like just believing the story one step at a time, 1 month at a time. Okay, we made another month, the man's still good. Okay, we made another month, the man is still good. I think it's going to continue for many, many years going forward. Now, eventually, we can't get complacent. Eventually, demand will slow, but I do not see that happening in the next few years for NVIDIA. And even if demand does slow, okay, fine. EPS grows at 40% or 50%. Look, this PE ratio is cheap right now. This PE ratio, like if growth was for earnings per share like 40% year over year, I would still say the stock's at fair value. So we have a lot of buffer in this trade right here. Now, profit margins are super, super fat because they have the best chips and they could demand a high price for that because people are willing to pay it because it's the best freaking chip. And they're the most efficient chips. They're the cheapest to operate in the long term. Even though you pay a little bit more upfront for the NVIDIA chip, the long-term operating cost of NVIDIA all in is actually cheaper because they're more efficient, right? It's kind of like buying a cheaper car that's not fuel efficient, which is kind of like an AMD chip is how you could see it. Nvidia is like buying a more expensive car, but then it's way more fuel efficient on the tail end. So that's the Nvidia case right there. Now the bear case, competition is rising for sure. AMD is there; they got great chips. Broadcom, custom chips from companies at like Amazon and Google, they're designing their own. But on balance, Nvidia has 75% profit margins. I know it's 75% EPS growth too, but their profit margins are also 75%. They are that fat because they have the best product and the demand is very, very strong. So while competition is rising, I don't think it's going to rise enough to crush the business. AI compute demand could slow. Hey, it's of course possible. I just don't think it's going to happen in the next couple years. And of course, for all these companies, China could invade Taiwan and that could be really, really bad. But overall, I'm very bullish on NVIDIA, and I guess I gave you a glimpse here of Salesforce is the next one. The play on NVIDIA is this. I'm okay to buy shares. I'm okay to sell puts. I'm okay to buy calls. I have all those open right now on NVIDIA. And if you're patient with it, you give yourself a 1 or a 2 year time horizon for those trades. You understand it's going to be very bumpy in the middle of it. I think if you could close your eyes and open them in a year and a half from right now, you're probably going to be pretty happy on NVIDIA. Okay. Company number 4, the big bad Salesforce. Okay. Everyone's all worried about AI crushing software companies, right? And while it's totally going to happen to some companies, all of them are not going to get crushed. I think that Salesforce is going to be good in the long term. I think that ServiceNow is going to be good in the long term. The only reason why I put Salesforce here and not ServiceNow is because Salesforce has a much cheaper valuation level than ServiceNow. ServiceNow's PE ratio was around 30 and Salesforce is at 15. So it's basically half the valuation level. So you're getting like double bang for your buck, right? It's definitely worth it to allocate in my opinion. So we don't see amazing numbers like NVIDIA right here, but also understand you're getting it at 15 times earnings. So this is kind of like a value play in my opinion. And the stock is also beat up, it's down, it's just underappreciated right now. So I think that Salesforce on balance is going to do good in the long term. I just went through the recent earnings report. The numbers look good, the profit margins look okay. And honestly, like if AI was going to disrupt them on a bear case here, one of the first things that we would see decline is going to be the profit margins. They're not really declining at all. They're actually basically flat around 35% profit margins, which is good. Um, but I think that this AI thing is a little bit blown out of proportion, and I don't think the AI is going to crush this business. We will see it. It's not going to be like an overnight thing. This will be over the course of many, many years for them to get crushed. Right now, the valuation's good, the growth is good for earnings per share, and revenue growth is pretty good too. It's decent. So I think this is worth allocating too. Now, what is the allocation right here? I'm okay to buy some shares, I'm okay to sell some puts, and I'm okay to buy some calls, but you have to have your position sizing just right. You never want to go too heavy on one individual company. You have to have your position sizing right. Just in the event that if you go buy all five of these companies right here and you put 20% of your portfolio in each one, you're probably going to do good on most of them, but there might be one of them that it just doesn't work out. So you always want to have your position sizing right so that if we happen to be wrong about something, you're not going to get wiped out. Okay, that is Salesforce. Now going down one more. This is probably one of the most compelling setups right now that not many people are actually appreciating, okay? The big bad Meta. And I know we talked about this before on the channel, but it just becomes more and more compelling, okay? Revenue growth 26% year over year. Earnings per share growth 20% year over year. You're getting that for 19 times trailing earnings, which is pretty freaking cheap if you ask me. We know what Meta does. They have Facebook, they have Instagram, they have WhatsApp, they have Messenger, they have other platforms they're coming out with. They have Threads now, which they're running no ads on Threads just yet, which is like the X competitor. So that's like upside for the stock potentially to run ads on Threads. There's also a new platform that they're coming out with that is potentially going to try to crush Reddit in a way. I'm not saying it's going to crush Reddit, but that's what they're trying to do is encroach onto Reddit's turf right there. Um, that's bullish tailwind for Meta. And when you have this good growth at a good valuation level to start, I think it's worth allocating to. So the main story is they're spending so much on capital expenditures. Everyone is all worked up about how are you going to become profitable with that. But the biggest thing that not many people are looking at on Meta, and Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, just said it, is that they could potentially take their extra data center capacity that they actually bought, that they're buying, and they could go rent that out as cloud compute like an AWS or like a Google Web Services, things like that. Kind of like what we just saw SpaceX do, where they're renting out cloud compute now to Anthropic, which is Claude. Claude needed more compute, they didn't have it. SpaceX had the chips. Hey, we'll rent these chips to you. If Meta happens to overbuild, they could go do that exact same thing that SpaceX just did. So it's kind of like a backstop, a little bit of a tailwind for Meta stock going forward of just if they buy too many chips, and that's the main threat right there. Okay, so that's the video right here, and this is my current value of my Charles Schwab account that I plan on using to capitalize on some of these opportunities right here. Of course, guys, understand the market's going to be volatile. Understand that the overall valuation level for the S&P 500, it's a little bit hot right now, but if you potentially allocate to these companies right here, you keep your ratios in check, you keep your emotions in check, you don't freak out when we get downside volatility in the market, you're going to probably be okay in the long term, but it's going to be a bumpy ride like it's always going to be in the stock market. I get it that everything has been sending to the moon right now and basically everybody is a genius out there, right? But look, we will have bad things that happen. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying to have your portfolio built in a way, which I am right now and I always am, to be able to not only survive through a 50% crash, but be able to capitalize in that too, because it's going to eventually happen one day. All right, that's a video. Like, subscribe, hype, drop a comment below if you want. Share it to your friends if you want to. Maybe they'll get value from it. And if you want to learn more about my stock option system, watch a video right here or click the link in the video description below, 10-day stocks and option transformation. You're going to get access to my course. You're going to get access to my Discord. And you're also going to get access to the big bad stock sheet that so many people love right now. There's a lot of research that I do on here. There's a lot of good stuff on here. You're going to want to go check that out. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.